Hi guys. Is this in landscape or portrait mode for you guys? So like, is it horizontal or vertical? Hopefully it's landscape mode for everyone. Let's see. All right, so I'm just, hi, a view is a view. Thanks, my love. So I wanted to do an update on the hand. Hi, K Harp. And if I missed some of you guys' comments, it's because I don't have the camera face the way that I need to see the comments and speak at the same time. But I figured I'd just go ahead and do a live video so that I can get this done, because a couple of you have been asking about updates on the Poochiez practice hand, as well as the finger that you see me use all the time in my videos. So I figured I'd just come on, do a live video, because it can save it for later on, as opposed to me filming and then you guys have to wait until I can edit it. But certain things I probably will go ahead and do in a separate video. So I'm gonna just jump right in. As you can see, these three fingers here do not have tips on them, but they do still have a little bit of film on them, and I did that on purpose so that I can point a couple things out for you guys, for those of you who either have it or have questions about it. But this is what the hand looks like without any tips on it. Now, to remove the tips, all you need to simply do is just clip down the tip. And then if you have some product on it, then you can go ahead and file or buff it down. And then soak in pure acetone. When I soak mine off, excuse me guys, I'm gonna bump the camera. When I soak it, I use a dish like this. Most of the time I do use my dampened dishes like this, and then I can just soak off one individual finger in pure acetone, or if I want to do multiples, then I'll do this. But the pinky is always the hardest one, so sometimes I'll soak it and then I will do the pinky last. So you guys can soak off the nails and put new ones on. So in case you are wanting to use full cover, you do need full cover tips. Even if you are sculpting, you do still need to have a tip on. So if you wanted to sculpt using your Poochiez practice hand, then what you would do is put the tip on, and then you cut it as short as you might need it to be, so that you can go ahead and put the form on the finger, and you would just hold it as you would a regular hand. So you would just hold it, and then you put the form on, and then you go ahead and sculpt. Now, in order to reuse mine so that I do not have to soak these off every single time, is I use the which is the UNT, and this is a peel off nail coat. So when I put my nail tips on, say we're going to just go ahead and say this is the one that we're using. When I put it on prior to doing gels or acrylics, I always use this. So that way when I'm done gels, acrylics, dip powder methods, whatever it is that you're doing sculpting, I can just go ahead and peel it off, and then I'm left with my base again. Now, if I'm doing a sculpted hand or a sculpted nail, same thing, keep the nail base short, put the on, let it dry, and then I go in with whatever product, because once you peel this off, the base is going to be connected to whatever you sculpted. So therefore, all of that, you can just go ahead and peel it off, and then you can just use those pieces later or toss them in the trash. But your hand, it just makes the hand even more easy and reusable for you. And then I actually got the practice finger first. And I do like this so much because of the simple fact that if you are, and maybe my lighting's too bright, but you guys can see it here. The cuticle is just like a realistic hand. And anytime that you guys are using files and buffers, be very careful. She has suggested when you put the nails on to use a petroleum-based product. And I highly recommend that, especially when you're filing or buffing, because if you have a sharp file, you don't want to be cutting this hand. It's a very tough and thick silicone hand. It's very much like a realistic skin. So the difference is if you cut into this, it's not going to grow back. You're done. It's going to ruin the hand. So you want to take those same precautions and safety measures, which is why I think it is such a cool thing to have. And I did pay for it. I don't know whether or not others who watched that last video were under the assumption she sent it to me or not, just based off of some of the personal messages I got, but I paid all of the money for this. I paid all of the money for this as well. I am not affiliated with her, but I do support her because I'm a customer. So those are just some of the generalized questions that I got about the hands, is if you can sculpt with it, can you reuse it, and how do you reuse it? Now, she does have videos on how to soak off, how to prep the hand, but I'm going to tell you guys when you get it, this is a primer that she has on her website. I highly recommend that you guys get this primer, because if not, you're not going to be able to stick the nails onto the nail bed. So you don't need to do anything else other than, you know, make sure there's not any dust particles on the hand, but you just simply apply the primer, wait for it to get chalky white, put the glue on your nail tip, and slide the nail tip under the cuticle and press and hold, and that's it. So I think that is that answers most of the questions that I have gotten. Now there are others stating that there are other things. Hi Sharon, you finally caught me. There are other hands like this on the market. I know I got a couple of questions about that, and I do have one, so I'm going to share that, and I guess I'll share the difference in it and whether or not I recommend those products. And then those of you who are not familiar with this is called life casting. This is a technique that's been around for a while, and the fact that she's taken this and used this and created this product so that nail techs can use it is just goes to show how much it was needed for, or that we needed it anyway. I had a couple people ask whether or not you can use this for your state board. For our state board, you have to have a live model. So that's something that you're going to have to speak to whatever state you're in. Your nail technician's course, the director or the teacher should be able to tell you what can or cannot be taken as far as getting your license. We had to have had a live model. So you have to have a live model in the state of New Jersey in order to take your practical exam. So that's another question that I got asked. And for the most part, I think that covers it. Okay. Now, others were stating, where's the thumb? She has two separate ones. She does have one that has a little bit of a arm and it has a thumb on it. And then there's this one, which is the four fingers. This one I needed because you guys know I sell my my gels, and I have my online store for that. So I needed something that was in a photographic pose, I guess you could say, that will make it a lot easier to go ahead and design the nails, paint them, or whatever it is I wanted to do. And you can just stand it up and then zoom in, or whatever way you need to get a nice picture of your nail designs or products. So for the most part, that's what makes the difference between Poochiez hand and any other ones. If you guys know tattoo artists, which I know several, they use this technique as well. So they sometimes you'll see them with like pieces of skin. Sometimes they'll have like realistic looking pieces of skin for the back of the hand that they need to practice and tattoo on top of. And all of that is the same thing. It's all life casting. And I do have one around here somewhere. I'm going to show you guys. But to be honest, I go more towards my Poochiez products than I do any others. And the reason being is because, number one, Poochiez is the only one that I saw that comes in different skin tones. I did see another company, but hers was more of like prosthetics, so it's not filled, and I needed my product to be filled so that I can use it. And hers are a little more expensive, so I wasn't able to get that. And this was more towards my personal wallet. I'm not going to speak for everyone else. This practice hand is $250 on her website. This finger, I think I paid $45 for it, I think. And I know I had a couple people are like, that's just too expensive. That's what I paid for. So, you know, that's what I decided to spend my money on, because doing YouTube, doing my website and everything else, it was something that I needed. I needed a realistic like hand that I could swatch or practice things on. If you are a beginner, one of the reasons why this is probably better for you is because of the cuticle area. You need to learn how to not hit that. So I would rather someone invest in this and tear this up as opposed to a real life person and then they have nicks and cuts and everything like that. Trust me, it is not fun, especially when you take your nail technician's course, when you're constantly soaking nails off to put nails on and soaking them off and putting them on. When you're in school, you have to practice on each other. So something like this kind of saves you on that. And I don't know whether or not your schools will allow you to take it in. I don't see why they wouldn't, because you know, if you're practicing a curriculum, I don't see why they wouldn't, but it's one of those you need to ask questions and figure out whether or not you can or cannot have it in your course. All right, so that's it. Let me see if I can find this other one. Oh, this one also, it did come with nail tips on it, and some of this stuff is actually going to be repetitive information. I have a video already speaking on this stuff, so I'm just trying to come back and just answer all of the other questions that I constantly was getting either inboxed or DM'd about when I have it on my Instagram, or you know, things like that. Whether or not it's something that you can afford, that has nothing to do with me. I did not set the price on that. I do think that it's well worth it. I think it's one of those things, it's an investment. So you either need to save up for it or see whether or not some family members or friends are willing to kind of do a hand pot for you, so that it's something that they can invest in so that you can use it and practice with it. But if you wanted to, there are others. Here it is. This one I got off of, was it Amazon? Lord, I don't remember. I think this was Amazon, but the company name is iTattoo. This is the box that it comes in, and it has the place for the hand. Now, this one was about $40, if I'm not mistaken. Give me a second, guys. Let me grab it. And it comes in like this plastic hand, and this one is a tattoo hand. This is more the reason why it's so big. And this one is like a male size hand. And it's very heavy, but I think that works because neither this one nor Poochiez do you need to have. I keep bumping this camera. I'm so sorry, guys. This one you do not need to, nor does Poochiez need to worry about a stand, because you're kind of just going to hold it. Oh my God, if I hit this camera one more time, you kind of just need to hold it as if you would a realistic hand. So you don't need a stand for any of these. And again, you can just go ahead and put the nails on it. This is what the nail looks like on this one. So it's similar, but definitely not the same. I am 100% sure that this is mimicked after a male hand. And so it's really up to you. I think this one I paid like $40 for it. And I have multiple ones because when I was needing stuff like this, these are things that I'm normally gifted or people tell me about and I get, or I just research and find out about. But you can do the same thing. All of them, you do need a primer to attach the nails to the hand, and you need a acid-based primer because the acidless primers leave a sticky layer, so they do not stick to this silicone material. And again, this is by the brand iTattoo. There are multiple companies that sell these, so it's really up to you to just do the research and figure out and find what works for you. So if you're in the market for something cheaper, you can definitely go ahead and get this. I use this when I have my little Poochie hand soaking. I do like this a lot. It's very heavy and realistic. I think it'll keep you mindful of, you know, hitting the hand and give you a realistic aspect when you are painting the nails and that cuticle area, which is most important. But I don't find that this photographs as nicely as my Poochiez one. So it's really up to you to decide what you can invest in and spend your money on. I know I had a couple people state that, you know, that's not the only one and there's other ones. I wasn't meaning for that video to turn into a debate. It was just me sharing something that I purchased, I liked, and I was using. But if you do need a cheaper option, yes, there are definitely others out there. If you are a tattoo artist or if you know someone, they have like the pieces of skin that you can tattoo on. I know my brother-in-law, I forget what he used to use, but he will go to like the grocery store and get stuff and just practice tattooing. But again, they're just like us. They need a realistic skin or a model to practice on, and this just lets you do it over and over again. So heck, look, even if y'all need to practice henna, practice your henna designs on these and then go ahead and do some nails on them, and that's your way that you can showcase your work and you can show the things that you need. And I think that pretty much covers everything. If you guys have any other questions, let me know. But I just wanted to come back and do this update for you guys because I had a lot of people who either hadn't seen them or did see them and was curious about them, and was asking, are there other alternatives? There's also that, what is it called? It's like a flexi finger. I don't know if you guys have seen that or not, but the flexi finger, it comes with like a suction cup. This one, where can you buy this? This you purchase off of Poochiez website, which is the nailartboutique.com. And you can always scroll back through my other videos and watch the realistic practice hand review that I did on that one for any other like questions. And the link right now, like if you wanted to go to the link, then you can. But it's the nailartboutique.com. That's where I purchased both of these from. Now, the individual practice fingers, she does not have. It's one of those things that no problem, not a problem. Look, that's why I'm here, and that's why I wanted to do the live video, so I can kind of answer you guys' questions right away, as opposed to you waiting until later on if I don't have time to get to them. So lost my train of thought. Oh, another thing that you guys can do if you're practicing stamping and you don't want the nail polish to get on here, you can use the latex around the finger and it works just the same, so that you don't have to constantly clean up. But you can always use acetone or alcohol to clean these off. And another thing I wanted to let you guys know is I find it to be very, very, very important to keep these hands moisturized. So you can either use Hi Lady and Waff, you can either use a petroleum jelly to keep it, or definitely just go ahead every single time you do the nails on this hand, grab you some cuticle oil and keep these moisturized. You want to kind of like baby these. Oh, here's another thing. Make sure that you guys, if you can, whether it's this hand or the iTattoo hand, I gotta find the other one. It's another website that I have one from. All of these collect lint and dust. You can probably see it more on this one. All of these collect lint and dust. So I suggest that you guys, when you're using these, especially if you're using like gel, hey Shay, Oh, thank you. Look, that's why I said let me just jump on here and do this live so I can answer you guys' questions, because I don't want to keep saying I'll have the video up, I'll have it up, and then can't get to it. But I suggest that you guys use a lint-free surface to work on, and not a towel like you guys see me using here, but a lint-free surface. And the reason being is because these collect so much lint and dust on them, so even when you take your pictures, I find that once I'm done the nails, I kind of got to wipe the hand off really good, and then moisturize it and kind of let that moisture dry down, because I personally don't like to take my pictures and then have like a pool of cuticle oil around it. And it's not just a practice finger, I mean like even on regular hands. And y'all excuse my gels because I've been tearing my hands up and they do need to be done over. But I like to go ahead and rub that moisture in, let it settle down, and then take my pictures. So any of you who just tuned in, if you missed the beginning portion of this, it will replay. So once I end this live, you can go back and watch it. But just to catch you up, I was just trying to answer any questions that anyone had about the Poochiez hands. I've been getting asked a lot about alternatives, or if I knew there were alternatives. And another thing I feel like is the difference between hers and the tattoo hand specifically, I can speak on those because those are the ones I have, is that Poochiez comes in an array of complexions. So to me, that's important, because if you have a client who wants to see how a color or a color combo looks on her, and the complexion isn't hers, it gives you options to show your clients what the different designs and colored acrylics, nail polishers, or what have you would look like on them. So yeah, that's pretty much the difference between hers, outside of the pose, which is just like awesome. Plus I find that hers kind of just, when I'm doing gel, you just pop it in a lamp. These ones as well, you can just sit them in a lamp when you're doing it, but you do have to be careful, because the way that this hand is, it sits to the side. So with this one, you kind of want to hold it in a lamp and make sure that it's not laying to the side and you don't get product or anything like that. And that's pretty much it. So again, soak off with acetone. Make sure you're wearing gloves, because this nail is going, all of this is going to get soaked off, and you're going to be left with this. This still needs to soak. Like I said, I just wanted to leave some of it on so I can make it a point for you guys to remember. You need to soak this until even under the cuticle, all of this is gone. All of it. Because when you put your nails back on, it's not going to sit as flush to the nail. And you don't want to have all that buildup under the cuticle area. So again, pure acetone. You take it out the acetone. I let mine sit in like 5-minute intervals. So the first thing I do is clip the nail down. If I'm going to use my e-file, again, you guys, you need to make sure you're using safety bits, the ones with the rounded tip, so that you're not cutting this hand. Because if you use one like this, it's a possibility it can cut the cuticle area, or maybe like the side of the hand. And even when you're using your files and buffers, you want to make sure you score the edges of them, because just like a human hand, you can cut into it. So those are just like a wrap up of the majority of everything that I was speaking about. If you guys don't have any more questions, I'll go ahead and get ready to end this, so that those who need to see the beginning can go ahead and rewatch it. I don't think there's anything else. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, and Poochiez has a couple of videos on it already speaking about it. And I really love it. I absolutely do. I had a couple people thinking or asking if I thought it was worth the investment. And yeah, I definitely do, because I mean, it's not going to get up and move around the way I needed to, but for what I needed, it definitely was well worth the purchase. And I do plan on getting more, because I do want other complexions. So again, like I said, you guys, just look around. If this isn't in your income bracket right now, go and look and see what else is out there, but I don't think that it should take away from what this product is and what it was meant for. So I just wanted to go ahead and share this, share that there's others. She's actually added more skin tones, and sometimes she does oops hands. So whichever you guys are interested in, I would say just go ahead and go to her website or follow her on Instagram so that you can see what new complexions or hands and such she has posted. But even if this video doesn't answer you guys' question, feel free to just go to her. She's a very approachable person, so you can always ask her any specific questions. She does have a darker skin tone, Lady in Mauve. I don't know, I forget the name of it, but she does have a deeper tone complexion. She has lighter tone ones, and since I've purchased it, I think she added like 2 or 3 more skin tones. But you know, like I said, just make sure you guys are up on it so that you can see what she has. And any questions that you guys have, I'm telling you, she is very approachable in her response to things. And make sure that, you know, if I can't answer it, she can, because it's a product that she makes. She does hand make these. They're not manufactured. I believe everyone, including the practice one, all of them, they hand make them because it's called life casting. So I really hope that I answered everything. I wanted to be as detailed as possible. And I believe that's it. So yeah, just remember, you guys, primer, acid primer you need. She sells this on her website. She does sell replacement nail tips. They come with nail tips on them already. Mine came with the long stiletto shaped ones, but let me show you guys the others. Sorry if you guys can't hear me. I stepped away from the phone. And they're doing construction, so if you guys hear that noise, I apologize for that. These are the other nail tips that comes with it. And I really, really, really like the color of these, because as opposed to, let's see, as opposed to this one, this has more of like a fleshy color. So you can go ahead and clip this one down and put it on the nail tip or this hand, whichever one it is that you want to use. You can put it on there and it's going to give you more of a flesh tone nail base. And then you can go ahead and keep it short like this and put your nail form on and sculpt, or you can just go ahead and go on top of this one. And let me make sure I'm not missing comments. What's the name of the other hand? This one right here, or the finger. This one is by a brand called I Tattoo. That's what I was speaking about earlier in the video. I've had individuals ask me, are there alters or others, or have I heard of them? And this is like a tattoo practice hand. So tattoo artists practice their tattooing on these. So this one was from Amazon. It's called I Tattoo, and this is the only one that it has. There's another tattoo company, something Flesh, I forget what it's called, but there's a couple of them, and this one was 40. Please don't quote me on that. It was something like that. It was around that mark on Amazon. And outside of that, make sure you guys get you some peel off nail base so that you guys can reuse the nails as you redo them, so you don't have to worry about constantly soaking the hand. But I do tend to soak mine off because it's fairly easy. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you guys have any other questions and I have to do like a really detailed one or detailed step like applying the nails, I'll do that in my normal pre-filmed and edited videos, because I can cut those down to like a minute to 2 minutes and make it a lot faster. But hopefully this answers you guys' questions, whatever ones you end up getting. But as nail techs and enthusiasts, I'm telling y'all, these are a necessity. I know a couple people were saying they were creeped out about it. I mean, obviously, if you don't have anything to do with needing this, of course it would freak you out, because who would want to have like a hand or something just sitting around? But yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for being tuned in. I really hope this answers your questions. If not, just leave them in the comment section and I'll get back to them or back to you as soon as possible. Love you all. See you in the next one. Have a gorgeous day, dolls. Smooches. Mwah. Bye. Bye.